Okay, yes. Hello again. Good evening, everybody. Just want to thank everybody for coming in. We're just going to get started. I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming for this second summer enrichment orientation, just in case some others may have missed the last one we hosted earlier last month. So without further ado, just want to get started and I'll hand it off to Miss Judine to lead us in.
Thanks, Mr. Nicholas. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to our second open house summer camp enrichment meeting. This evening, we welcome you all to our summer camp enrichment orientation. Please mute your microphones on your device and feel free to turn your webcams on or off. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. CECC's administrative team, that is the Executive Director, Leonie Francis, and Administrative Director, Ms. Sophia Francis. Our Educational Director, that is Ms. Johnson, who is here with us today also. Our office staffs are Ms. Charles, Ms. Judine, myself, that is Ms. Shiama also. Next person for the slide.
Thank you so much, Ms. Judine, and good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a privilege to see all of you today. Just to go over a little bit about our summer enrichment camp, it's going to be a little different than what we had for previous years. This year, we are calling it Summer Enrichment Program. This is because we'll be having students will be our campers, will be engaged in academic lessons in the morning, and fun-filled afternoon activities, and as well as on-site trips. As you're well aware that we all went through an unprecedented time. And so we're doing this camp because we want to enable our students, we want to enable them to rejuvenate their minds, return them to a sort of normalcy of in-person environments, and give them the opportunity to socialize and interact with their peers. And so this is why we've made the change with our summer enrichment program. And then also in response to this year, as well as last year, we have a lot of students or campers are involved in remote learning. And so we strongly believe that it's important to make this program change so we can, one, boost our students' academic achievement, and to help also with their social and emotional development. So these three components are what we are focusing on for our summer enrichment program. A little later on, you will get an idea of what the day will look like, what the summer enrichment program is going to be all about, and what a specific day in the life of your child for this summer enrichment program will look like. So our enrichment activities include, of course, we said the academic component in the mornings, and we also have arts and craft activities. So in the afternoons, of course, we'll have them doing these activities. We'll have on-site and virtual trips, scavenger and treasure hunts, STEM activities, indoor and outdoor play, and we want to focus a lot to help them with free play as opposed to having structured play. We're going to have cooking as well. We have move to improve activities, neighborhood walks and parks, and so much more. And so our summer enrichment will have a dynamic team who are committed to providing this kind of quality experience as well as education, and having our students or our campers to have that overall great summer experience. Now over to Ms. Charles.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our summer camp orientation. I'm just going to go through just some general information. So our summer enrichment program begins on Tuesday, July 5th, and it ends on Friday, August 27th. And for now, due to COVID, our hours of operation will be still Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And our program will be, the age range, for our enrichment program this year will be between the ages of 4.5 to 13 years old. So basically, if your child is going into pre-K, which is 4-4, a pre-K student all the way to 8th grade. And our 2s, 3s, and early 4s children are provided preschool services at our main location, which is at 1110 Cortelyou Road. Next slide, please, Nick. Okay, so in order to be part of our enrichment program this year, you need to submit a completed application, which includes a sign-up page, health form or physical, the CSCFP meal form, and your applications can be submitted through in person or electronically via email. But please remember, if you're going to email us the application, please do not take a photo of the application. It has to be scanned, because when you send pictures, it does not print very well. It prints very dark. So if you're going to email us your application, it must be scanned and emailed to us. In addition, if you're a 1199 family, you must sign the application, because we do have to submit that to 1199 later on. So applications can be dropped off at our main office or at 1110 Cortelyou, or the location at 2739 Bedford Avenue. Also, the application is fillable, but obviously the signature page must be printed out and signed. Moving on, applications and payments should be submitted as soon as possible to ensure your slot is secured. Other requirements of documentation is we must get a negative result from the COVID-19 PCR nasal swab test at least 2 weeks, that's 14 days prior to your child's camp start date. In addition, and a copy of your child's most recent report card or assessment report will also be required. Next, and due to COVID, let's go over a few safety protocols that we are trying to adhere to. One, there's a group capacity and is limited to a maximum of 15 students. This is very important, why you need to submit your application as soon as possible along with the payment. Submitting an application only. These are families outside of 1199, but 1199 families still have to submit their applications. But for our paying families and stuff, what is very important that you submit your application along with the payment. Having an application on file doesn't constitute that you will actually be there, because in previous time, someone may submit an application and they decide they're not to come. So please make sure that you take care of that. We're also going to do health checks upon drop off and also when you pick them up. Face coverings will be mandatory for all teachers as well as all students. We also have been doing a lot of frequent sanitization. Hand washing procedures will be done during transition periods and also during bathroom breaks. And so there's also a lot of increased sanitation and cleaning protocols throughout the day, emphasizing frequently touch objects. So things that are in the general area where all the kids may end up touching, we try to keep those clean and sanitized several times throughout the day. And please make note, all programs, whether your child is in preschool or in the enrichment program, all programs will be dismissed at 5:30 p.m. to provide sufficient time for our custodial staff to clean the buildings down to get them ready for the next day. Next, I think over to Sophia, right? I think that's 9.
Miss Yama, yes.
Ms. Shiama, you're up next.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at Cortelyou Early Childhood Summer Camp Orientation. Cortelyou Early Childhood Center Camp is a technology-free zone. And I know due to the pandemic, our kids have been using or be on their iPads, their phones, or laptop more frequently. So at Cortelyou Early Childhood Center, we have a plan rich summer activities for our kids. We have activities such as a smoothie bar, which where our kids will be asked to choose three of fruits of their choice to make those smoothies. We have a sprinkle day. We have nature walk. We have a salad bar. So we kindly ask if parents no technology is needed or allowed in our enrichment program.
Thank you, Ms. Shyama. So, good evening, parents. Thank you so much for joining us this, what day is it? Wednesday evening for to learn a lot more about what your child will be doing this summer. So, as a lot of my staff has already brought to your attention, camp is going to run from July 6th through August 27th. So we started a little bit later and we're going a little bit longer, but it's still the same 8 weeks, which parents are used to. However, this summer, because of a lot of learning loss throughout the academic year, we really want to hone in on the social and emotional development with our children. Peer-to-peer interaction, the socialization piece is very key. In addition to just going over some of the lessons that some of our students would have missed this year. And even if they did get it, which is great, I know some of us are still on it, we still want to get them ready for September. Because coming out of a challenging year, the pandemic, remote learning, all that we've been going through these last 18 to 19 months, we want to make sure that they're successful and they're putting their best foot forward when they enter any classroom come September, be it a Cortelyou classroom, be it a charter school classroom, be it a public school classroom. We want to give all of our children definitely the best chance possible for the betterment of their education. So that's why we switched to an enrichment program this summer, opposed to just summer camp. So like Ms. Johnson was telling us a little bit earlier, we do a lot of indoor trips, indoor activities, on-site trips, virtual trips. We're bringing all of the fun and activities to our school buildings, simply because the pandemic is still a thing, even though we're moving closer and closer each day to what are they calling it, herd immunity, but we're just not there as yet. So we welcome that everyone's deciding to still participate in a summer program this summer. And we're just asking that you be with us and continue to adhere to the guidelines that we have at Cortelyou to make our summer operations flow smoothly. So as far as our academic enrichment program, more specifically, what our students are going to be doing, this is from children entering K all the way up to 8th/9th graders, because we have some students who are still interested in being in Cortelyou, because we usually do go to the age of 15. So we're doing K through 9th grade. And we are going to have our children divided into their groups according to their specific age group and their specific grade that they're attending. We are going to concentrate on math and ELA, which includes reading and writing. This is important because this is the foundation of any education. When you're doing science, social studies, all of these things, you need to know how to read, write, your penmanship, and as well as your math, it needs to be up to par. So you really understand and comprehend what you're working on. So for the mathematics, we will have some assessments to see where our children are at the start of the program. And I know some people are opting in at different weeks 2, 4, 6, 8. But once the children come in, we do have a program in place. So they'll just kind of fit in and we'll be able to assess them and meet them where they are. So the assessments, grade specific lessons and assignments. So if you're going to kindergarten, you'll be working on what you would have learned in pre-K as well as what you will be working on kindergarten. So the academic lesson is going to be a bridge. And that's true for the 1st grade, the 7th grade, the 6th grade, all of the different grades. We're gonna teeter-totter on both grade levels, just to make sure that what they were working on was solid and where they're going, they'll have an advance. So for example, If you're in the 5th grade, we're going to review 5th and then move on to 6th. If you're in 7th, we're going to review what you should have learned in 7th and move on to 8th. And how we're going to probably spread that out over the month is over the 8 weeks is start in July with the grade that you should have pretty much got a good understanding with, and then just do the very beginning topics of the next grade. So like I said, it does not matter what time you start camp. Each week there will be a particular lesson. So if it's placeholders, or if another week it's problem solving, or if it's working with exponents, or working with order of operations, depending on your child's age and the grade that they're going to, the work would be curtailed specifically to their the appropriate developmental level. And then again, with English and language arts, we will have reading and writing, because it's very important that our children are getting up to speed with their, from our smallest ones with the sight words to our emergent readers, even for our older ones, because even sometimes when they get to 3rd and 4th grade, it's not that they don't know how to read, but reading without comprehending, that's an issue as well too. So we just want to make sure that they're comprehending what's going on. They can read passages, look for the context clues, answer the passages that are being asked for them. Because as you know, for all of our particular ages, our students, when you get to the public school, or even as you move forward into other testing grades, we have the ELA exams, we have math exams, we have social studies, science exams. There's a lot of exams. And not that we're teaching to the test, but we want to make sure that we're giving children at least the benefit as far as having a good understanding of the materials they need to know. Again, take into consideration, it is a summer program, and we're only doing that in the morning hours. So what I mean by that is that it's not going to be an all day 8 to 3 we're doing school. That wouldn't be summer. That wouldn't be fair. And we don't want to penalize them because the world just experienced a global pandemic. So it's going to be review, and it's going to be giving them one step further. But that's only going to happen during the morning hours. And then we're going to transition to fun and excitement for the rest of the day. I think that would only be fair. So when we transition to our afternoon activities, Ms. Johnson touched this a little bit before. We're going to work on arts and crafts activities, STEM activities, virtual and on-site trips, move to improve, because it's important that our kids keep moving. We also have cooking classes. They really enjoy that. Scavenger hunts. They love those throughout the community and neighborhood, as well as just neighborhood walks and a lot of outdoor play, because we do feel like our kids have been cooped up a little bit, and we just want them to be able to socialize, just go out on our playgrounds, go out in the neighborhood. But for the most part, when they're on our playgrounds, just play with their friends, because as simple as that sounds, a lot of kids haven't had the opportunity to play with their peers this year, sorry. And we want to give them that opportunity this summer, just to play and be a kid. So in the morning, we're going to do our academics, but in the afternoon, we're going to really hone in on our afternoon choice activities that they get to choose and participate in, which is going to include some things that Ms. Shiyama talked about, sprinkler days, balloon fight days, in addition to we want to have smoothie bars, sundae bars, just a lot of fun, cool activities that when you were a kid, you enjoyed doing or wish you had that opportunity. We really want it to be hands-on. We're really turning away a lot from the technology, because we do believe that a lot of our children are screen timed out. And just to remind some parents, on our calendar for currently enrolled children, next week on the 19th, we are also having, in partnership with the Brooklyn Public Library, I think it's a parental workshop on screen time and how to raise children in during these virtual times. So we just realized that it is another part of the pandemic that kids are just getting way too much screen times, and there's going to be a lot of adverse reactions to that if we as parents and educators don't take control of the screen time and how much things that they're just taking in from social media and things of that nature. So that's why during our camp activities, we are saying no to technology and yes to jump ropes and yes to playing with each other, and even a board game of checkers and things of that nature. There's a lot of fun that can be had without an iPhone or without a tablet. And we want to remind kids that this is in fact possible. So this is just a sample schedule as to how our K-8 enrichment programming is going to work. So as a good question that was asked of us is, during the summer, will we have the staggered enrollment times as far as, you know, this is something we did during COVID. That is no longer going to be true. So you can come from 7 and you can stay till 5:30. You can come at 8 and stay till 5:30, 8 and leave at 3, whatever the case may be. Because the city is opening up a little bit more, it is possible that you can get the full range of hours that you need. That's not a problem. It's totally up to you. So we'll be open at 7 a.m. and we'll start with our breakfast from 7 to 8:30 a.m., breakfast and check-in. Then from 8 to 9, we're gonna have this activity that we're gonna do every day, because we're gonna have libraries set up in all of our large meeting spaces. And we call it drop everything and read and journal. So basically what we wanna do is we wanna make sure that from our little ones all the way to our older ones, that everyone gets some reading in this summer. So there's gonna be libraries available for our little ones, and for the bigger kids, we're probably gonna assign them different books, and we're gonna have like a book club. But every morning from 8:30 to 9, they'll get the opportunity to open up a book and just do some very light reading. So for the little ones, it could be whoever the case may be. It can be something as simple as The Cat in the Hat. It could be something about Dora. For some of our older ones who have readers, book 1, book 2, book 3, we just want to make sure that they're reading. And that's how we're going to do it in the morning. Drop everything and read for 20 to 30 minutes, and then just jot down a couple of sentences about it, or for the older ones, a paragraph, because it's important that children enjoy reading and write often. Then from 9 to 9:25, we're going to have our morning assembly. During that time, we usually have our, we have our motivational affirmation of the day. We'll sing songs. We'll get geared up for the days. We'll have our different chants, our mantra. We're ready for camp. We have camp songs, things just to get them ready. And then we jump into our academics. So the academics are going to be taught by our CECC teachers. We're going to do, again, the academics in math, ELA, and writing. We may have the different teachers switch up the different subjects, as far as like one teacher for math, one teacher for ELA. Some of them will have the same teacher for both subjects, depending on the, as complicated as the work gets. It gets a little bit more challenging as you get up to the 8th grade and 7th grade work up there. In addition to that, we will do that. We'll have a little break in between the switching of subjects, and then we will transition to our lunch period. Something to take into consideration, I just want to let it be known for our smaller learners, the kids going to kindergarten and 1st grade, going to kindergarten and 1st grade, their morning may be a little bit more truncated, just because they also get to do like learning centers and things of that nature, because they probably wouldn't be able to keep going for a 2.5 hour block of just academics. So they're still going to have a little bit more of a modification to their programming. And then after lunch, everyone will get the opportunity to have some outdoor play, because we've been busy, we've been working, it's time to take a break. So they'll take a break, and then they'll come inside, and then they'll work on the afternoon STEM activity, arts and craft activity, move to improve, or cooking activity. So those are some things that we're concentrating on, just because we have teachers in those particular specialties, and we're going to work on that. So each week they'll have different activities based on the different projects based on the different activities. In addition to that, after that, we'll have some children will go into snack and free time, and then kids who do participate in transportation services, they would start to leave at 4 o'clock. That's if you're doing door-to-door transportation. After that, again, in the afternoon, we'll have some outdoor play, we'll have some organized games, some free play games, and also tabletop games. And then after that, we get ready for dismissal. So when the schedule does change is on Wednesdays, when we have a trip day. And on trip day, the schedule fluctuates just a little bit, because we have different people coming in for our respective trips. And when they come in for a 10 o'clock appointment, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever the case may be. So there'll be alterations on trip days. And then on Fridays, we do like an academic review for the week for whatever the subjects we were doing. And then we move on to fun activities for the day. And those are the days where we do scavenger hunts, treasure hunts. We also do the Sunday bar and the different activities, the water balloon fight. So there are going to be tons of fun on particular days, but those are the days where they kind of fluctuate a little bit. So with the enrichment program, we are gonna, if you're, depending on how many days, how many weeks of camp you're signed up for the most part, you would get 2 green t-shirts for camp. You would get a book bag, a water bottle, a notebook, and then you'll get a grade specific academic workbook because everyone's in a particular grade. So you'll have like a first grade, second grade, third grade, whatever grades you're going to, you'll have a grade specific notebook for you. In addition to that, campers should always come to camp with some pencils in their bag. We have tons of pencils, but believe you, between you and me, when they come to camp, they're always all over the place. So just always have pencils available for them at home as well as at school. Lastly, they should have a positive attitude and ready to learn because we're definitely trying to incentivize some of their learning because we know it's summer, but we're going to make it fun for them. And we're going to still give out stickers and awards and things of that nature, just because we want to reward them for a job well done and for sticking with it and for getting the work done this summer. There will be no homework. So you'll see the different activities. You can probably see what they did. Just make sure that some of their materials, make sure it stays in their book bag and it comes back. But we don't want to give them homework. That would be like too unfair for the summer. But there will be some extracurricular packets. So if they want to take it, or parents want to opt for it, you're more than welcome to. We'll give some more resources if you want to work alongside us, but we don't want to give them homework that they'll have to go home and sit down and do homework during the summer. That just wouldn't be fair. So just to elaborate a little bit more on some of our on-site trips this summer. So we have, I think, 2 different companies that are going to be coming to us from New Jersey on different days. And one is called, I think, Rizzo's World, and they pretty much specialize in reptile animals or reptiles. And they are going to bring snakes and lizards and things of that nature. And everyone's going to get a chance to see and not necessarily interact with the animals because they still have some COVID restrictions. When the different presenters come, they'll be presenting from the front and we're still sitting back with our mask and so forth. They may lighten it up as we get into July and August, but right now we'll be on spectators while they're presenting. Eyes of the Wild is another company where they're gonna come in with some, I think one is a macaw. They're also, we're gonna bring in wallabies, different animals that kids probably wouldn't normally see, but they've probably seen it if they've seen the movie Rio and some of the different movies that we see on TV. Also, some other trips that we have, what you see there is a gaming truck. We're gonna have a gaming truck come in, and basically that's gonna be for our kids who are in our Marlboro and our Bedford location. And it is a day that they're gonna get a good amount of screen time, but they're coming in with all those latest games that the kids do like to play. And it's an inside part of the truck and an outside part of the truck. And they're really gonna get to play video games alongside their friends and challenge them and just enjoy a day with playing, well, not a day, but a couple of hours of playing video games on site with the gaming company. Then we also have some other trips, which we call off-site trips. And those are parent accompanied. The next slide, please. Parent accompanied, and those we will go to amusement parks. So right now we are looking at Camel Beach Resort, Sesame Place for our younger ones, and Splish Splash for our, kids who are capable of going on rides that look like that. So it's going to be fun and exciting times. Those are for an additional fee. We do go out in coach buses, but again, you have to accompany your child. The only children who would be able to go unaccompanied are children who are over the age of 10 and they have parental permission, and you would fill out a permission slip, and then they would go with our staff on site. We would be fine with that for the older kids. But for our kids who are under the age of 10, they must go accompanied by their parents to the trips. These trips are in Long Island, Pennsylvania, just not around the corner trips. And because we aren't using yellow buses this summer, these are the only time that we are going on a bus. So that's why ideally we would like for little ones to be with their parents. It's a long day, it's a long journey, and they would need that one-on-one support, where we could definitely manage our 10 to 15-year-olds if we're out with them, because you know they have a lot of fun with us. And I've had years where parents do come and the kids are like, oh, we don't want to sit with the parents, we want to sit with our peers. But you know, when kids get older, they get, you know, they get super independent, they want to be with their peers. So whatever the case may be, if they're over 10, we can take them unaccompanied, but if they're under 10, you have to go with your parents, or a parent or a guardian, someone that you are holding responsible to take your child out of state for the day.
Hello. Good evening again, everyone. Thanks again for coming out on this evening just to learn about the Summer Enrichment Program. We hope everybody's excited. We know that everybody's pretty much been cooped up inside the house for, I would say, the last year and a half. So this will definitely be something that the students are going to be interested in. But we also definitely needed to recognize that need to catch up in terms of the educational aspect. But we're going to try our best to maintain what made our sports camps and our summer camps in the past just as fun. Like Miss Sophia just mentioned, those parent accompanied larger field trips, definitely going to be something that you may be interested in. We definitely need some of that time with our kids and with our families, especially after this past year and a half. So just something to look forward to. And right now we're just going to kick into some of the financial information as it relates to our summer programs. So we did have early registration, so that's why it says rates after April 30th. If parents were able to submit their applications and make payments, they were able to get different rates, but these are the rates that would be applicable to parents that enroll currently. And we just would like to note the enrollment will be based on remaining available capacity. So we just suggest, as we mentioned before, hand in the applications, submit the registrations as soon as you can. The registration fee for our current non-CECC attending students for this school year would be $150 per child. The weekly fees for that first week, I think it was briefly mentioned earlier, that Monday, July 5th, will be closed. So it's a slightly smaller fee compared to the other 7 weeks of the program. It would be $300 for that first week, and it would be $350 for the remaining 7 weeks per week. The trip fees would be $80 per person. Those would be those larger field trips that Miss Sophia just went over. And a side note for the parents with children that are 9 years or younger, they will have to be chaperoned. And tickets are not included in the weekly fees for these parents. So just keep that in mind. Now we're just going to move on to some more financial information. So as we had mentioned prior, towards the start of this school year, and we're still pushing this year as well, in terms of how you can make a payment for your fees, we're trying to push more of the electronic payments. It saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of effort, and it's convenient. It's convenient for you. It's convenient for us. It's so much easier to deal with. You can make a payment with a credit or debit card. If you want to make a payment even with a checking or savings account, all these electronic payments, there are no processing fees, and it saves time. And you could just contact us if you even want to make a payment with a checking or savings account from your bank. As we had mentioned, there are no processing fees currently till June 30th. We're still in the middle of reassessing if that's going to be extended, and we'll let parents know if that's the case. But take advantage of this while you can. So we do still accept other methods of payment just in case parents have that preference, such as cash, check, money order, etc. And for parents that do qualify under the relevant programs, such as ACD vouchers, 1199 approved members through your unions, through your employers, or MTA approved members, we still accept those programs as well. But we don't control that. Generally, you would have to go to ACS for the vouchers, and you would have to contact your union if you haven't already been placed on our list. So yeah, so those are pretty much all the financial items. I think we're just going to get towards the end of the presentation. Let me switch, and I'll throw it back to Miss Sophia.
So last year, what we did offer families was something we called a summer enrichment box. So it was for 8 weeks of summer fun and learning for you to pretty much facilitate summer camp programming at home. So this year we're offering a smaller box. We still have these boxes available if parents are still interested in buying those as well. But we're going to be offering some summer enrichment boxes that if you want to do some additional learning or lessons, or if you're going to be traveling and you just want lesson planned activities already for your specific child's age group or liking. We have some dinosaur themed book boxes and other boxes that are specific to like little girls. You are more than welcome to purchase those as well. But that's just in addition, if that's something you're interested in. Those summer enrichment boxes will be made available for pre-ordering as of May 17th. And last year, I think they were available for pickup the last week of June. So we're still going to make that happen for families who just want a little bit more, or you're always, going around buying different particular materials. These will be age specific and prepared by some of our educators, and that you can use at home as well. So we are just going to address some frequently asked questions. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to put it in the chat. So when and where do we have to submit the application? Applications can be submitted in person at any of our 3 locations or electronically via email to info@mycecc.com. And we are asking that parents submit these applications as soon as possible. There will be a cutoff. And right now, and I do appreciate a lot of parents have already gotten their applications in. So thank you for that. But we do have limitations on how many kids we are catering to this summer, because we are still in the midst of, reopening, but we're still in the midst of a pandemic. So we do have limitations on class sizes. So probably towards the end of May, that would be the end of signing up for summer enrichment program. And then it would just start in July. So please tell your friends, remind people. And I also told our staff members to remind people at the door at the time of pickup if you're currently enrolled. But please, if you intend to be here this summer, register to secure your slot. We are aiming for 15 students in each class group. And that's a little bit less. Usually we have multiple groups of particular ages. We're not even moving towards that this summer. We're moving towards having probably 1 group for each age range. And that's a little bit different. That's why I'm saying there are limitations. Will different groups of students intermingle within the building where your children are attending? Within the building, those kids will mingle for the most part, they will. Will Cortelyou offer a summer enrichment box this year? I just told you we will. These are some questions that were already emailed to us. What if my child is seeking admission to a charter school and our family is uncertain if my child will be in attendance for the entire summer as yet? That's fine, but that was an older question from our last orientation, which now everyone should have gotten a letter to, if you're going to charter school, if you're not, wherever you're going, you should know. So if you only could come for the first 4 weeks or the first 5 weeks because your charter school starts in August, that's fine. Just register for your 5 weeks or your 6 weeks. Register for what you need. What if there's a case of COVID-19 during the summer months? We will continue to adhere to the CDC guidelines. There may be temporary closure. Retesting may be required for reentry into camp. We just don't know. Right now, all has been well as of late, which is great. But as you know, with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, things are fluid, things are changing. Right now, we could see in India, we could see in Brazil, things are changing up for them. We're hoping, and it's looking like we're gonna be okay, but it's a fluid situation with the pandemic and nobody really knows. Next slide. Where will services for preschool be located? So all of our children ages 2 through 4 will be held at our Cortelyou Road location for all of July and all of August. 3 to 4-year-olds are free to wear green shirts in the preschool program, but it is not the summer enrichment program. The enrichment program students are going to wear green shirts daily, but the other campers, the other students are just regular preschool students, and they can come dressed in regular summer clothing. There are obviously no uniforms during the summertime. Is the centralized air system compliant with CDC guidelines? So only one of our buildings have centralized air, and that would be our Marlboro location. The rest of our buildings have air conditioners or smaller different units. So we have the recommended air filters. The recommended air filters, we purchased those, they've been installed, we've been changing those out as necessary, but we do have centralized air only at our Marlboro location. The rest of our rooms have air conditioners, and those are the other new type of air conditioners that people have. I forgot what you call those. That, you use a remote and it turns on and it blows beautiful air into the room. They're a little bit more expensive. We have those at our Bedford and our main building in some of our rooms. Will students engage in sport activities? Not necessarily. It's not going to be sports camp as usual. While some non-contact sports will be played, the summer will concentrate more on free play and physical educational directed games, not necessarily soccer and the basketball and things that we had that were more organized and that we needed park permits and reserved fields to do. That's not going to be the direction we're going in this summer. Can you register for individual weeks? Yes, parents can select which of the 8 weeks you are interested in registering for. And will transportation to and from camp be provided like previous years? At our last orientation, we said we weren't sure as yet. Now we are sure. We are going to provide door-to-door services for families who really need it. It does come with a fee, but if you really need it and you want pick up from your house and drop off at your house, we can make that happen for you. And those services start as of 4 p.m. in the afternoon and as early as 7 a.m. in the morning. So if that's something you're interested in, you should have indicated that on your application. And it is now something that is going to be available. And is financial aid available? Not for summer enrichment program. We don't have any summer financial aid. We only offer financial aid that a program through, I think it's called Children's Scholarship Fund, and that's for our elementary school program. But if you do participate in a job that has a union, and your union like 1199 or MTA will fund or kind of, it's not even fund, they pay a portion of your summer camp fee. You can apply through your union directly. And then we do accept ACS vouchers, and you would have to apply directly through the Agency of Children's Services. Last but not least, when will we be notified about the dates to pick up the provided materials? So as far as summer camp necessities, like the green shirts, the book bag, and the water bottle, there will be an email to all enrolled families with a week in June that you can come out and pick up your child's summer camp materials. I'm just going to go to the chat real quickly. Do you transport the kids between the Bedford and Cortelyou sites? We're not probably going to do that. We're not sure. We're just not sure about that as yet. We'll let you know as we get more information. Right now, we're trying to see how many people are interested in the door-to-door transportation, to know how many buses we'll have available to us. Well, vans, I should say. Although weeks were pre-selected, is the option to add a week or two okay if necessary? It just depends on availability. If the space is available, because if that group is already at the capacity of 15, then we wouldn't be able to add you for a week that you didn't already secure. Everything is pretty slated for the summer, and the limits are already there. So as long as if a slot is available, yes, but if a slot is not available, then the answer would be no. And are there any other questions? So If not, we just wanted to, again, thank everyone for coming out. I know it's pretty late. I know it's late for my staff. As you see, we're still in office buildings. It has been a very, very long day, and it has been a challenging year. But we are trying our best to still bring a fun and exciting summer to your families so that your kids can really get back out and get that peer-to-peer interaction that they need. We want to socialize, they want to socialize, and our teachers are definitely interested in teaching. They are passionate and just committed as far as even with the learning loss. Kids who are willing to learn, we are willing to teach. We want to work with them because that's our passion. That's why we're in the field of education. So we're going to try to do the best combination that we can this summer as far as making learning fun, making camp fun, and just overall allowing the children to have a good experience this summer before going back into full-time in-person instruction in September in the public schools, charter schools, private schools, wherever they go, we want them to be ready. So again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And again, if you have any additional questions, you can always email us. You can go to our website and put it in our website in our contact us, or you can email us at info@mycecc.com, or you can always pick up the phone and give us a call and we would be able to answer any of your questions that you may have. So look out for more emails from us because that's how we're updating our parents regularly about picking up information about our transportation list, if you requested transportation services. And again, any questions, feel free to give us a call. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Good night.
And if you're exiting, if you want to say anything, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, you can say a verbal good night if you would like to. But thank you so much for joining us.
Good night, everyone.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Burns, go ahead.
Okay, as to the technology, are they allowed to bring a cell phone or are they not allowed to bring a cell phone?
Well, we are trying not to, but I believe your child is your 1199 family, right?
Yes.
Yes. What we'll probably have, because I know if they're taking transportation to come, you may want to be able to be in contact with them. So they can come with it, but they will have to shut it down and basically put it in the office where we will keep
That's
those
fine.
the end of the day.
I am in agreement with that.
Okay. Yeah, so
yes, I'm in agreement with
when
that.
they come in, they will have to turn it into the office. And as a parent,
That's fine.
if something that you need to get in contact with them, you could always call the school and we can arrange for them to talk, or
Okay.
message or so forth.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.